Did you know? Commercial airplanes typically cruise at around 10-12 kilometers to save money. At this height, the atmosphere is much thinner. Thinner air means less resistance or drag, so engines don't need to work as hard, saving fuel. Jet engines also work more efficiently where the air is colder. This improves combustion, giving more thrust per unit of fuel. Flying high also avoids most weather and turbulence, making the flight smoother and safer. It also helps with air traffic management, separating aircraft into different flight levels to reduce collision risk. Since fuel is a massive airline expense, flying at this optimal altitude saves millions of dollars per year. But why not fly even higher? Above approximately 12 km, the air is too thin for engines to generate enough lift, and the stress on the pressurized cabin becomes too great. So 10 to 12 kilometers is the sweet spot that saves fuel and money, while making flights smoother and safer. Did you know? To survive the cold of winter months, many insects replace their body water with a chemical called glycerol. Freezing would form deadly ice crystals inside their bodies. To survive, they use glycerol and other antifreeze compounds. Glycerol lowers the freezing point of body fluids, acting much like antifreeze in a car. This lets their body fluids stay liquid even at 30 degrees Celsius. For example, woolly bear caterpillars survive Arctic winters this way. Certain beetles and flies accumulate glycerol in their tissues in late autumn. Some species combine glycerol with special antifreeze proteins to further block ice formation. But not all insects use glycerol. Some insects survive winter through freeze avoidance using glycerol and supercooling to prevent ice from forming at all. Others rely on freeze tolerance, allowing controlled freezing in parts of the body while protecting vital organs with glycerol or special proteins. Other use migration or hibernation, like monarch butterflies simply escape the cold by flying to warmer regions. Did you know? Despite their name, killer whales aren't technically whales, they're the largest members of the dolphin family. Orcas belong to the family Delphinidae, the same family as bottlenose dolphins, pilot whales, and false killer whales. They're the biggest dolphins, reaching up to 9 meters 30 feet long and weighing as much as 6 tons. Like other dolphins, they have conical teeth, social pods, complex communication, and echolocation. Why the confusion? The term killer whale comes from sailors centuries ago who called them whale killers after watching orcas hunt large whales. The name got flipped over time. Since they're huge compared to most dolphins, many people still assume they're a type of whale. Orcas are apex predators. They have no natural enemies. Different populations have unique hunting styles, diets, and even cultures. For example, some specialize in hunting seals, others in fish, and some even in whales. Did you know? Most common plastics can only be recycled a limited number of times. Each time plastic is recycled, its polymer chains break down, making it weaker and less useful. Contamination from food, dyes, and additives further lowers quality, so plastics are often downcycled into lower-grade products like fibers, carpeting, or plastic lumber instead of becoming the same item again. So how many times can plastics be recycled? PET, polyethylene terephthalate used in water bottles, can usually be recycled just 2-3 times. While HDPE, high-density polyethylene used in milk jugs, around 7-10 times before losing usability. Others, like PVC or polystyrene, often can't be recycled at all. This is very different from materials like glass or aluminum, which can be recycled indefinitely without losing quality. Future solutions include chemical recycling, which could allow near-infinite reuse, and biodegradable plastics, though many still need special conditions to decompose. Did you know? 75% of the world's diet is produced from just 12 plants and 5 different animal species. Out of thousands of edible plants, humans get about 75% of our food from just 12 main crops. Rice, wheat, corn, those 3 make up half of all plant calories we eat. The rest, potatoes, sweet potatoes, cassava, soybeans, barley, a few more. And when it comes to animals, cattle, pigs, chickens, sheep, goats, that's almost all our meat, milk, and eggs right there. Depending on so few species is risky. Disease, pests, climate change could wipe out a staple and leave billions hungry. Remember the Irish potato famine, the takeaway? Biodiversity on our plates isn't just trendy, it's essential for a safer, tastier future. So next time you eat, thank those 12 plants and 5 animals. But maybe root for a few more. Did you know? Staring at your own reflection for too long can actually make you hallucinate. In dim light, staring into a mirror for a few minutes can make your face seem to distort, melt, or even turn into a stranger or something monstrous. This phenomenon is known as the strange face illusion. Here's why it happens. When you fix your gaze on one spot, your brain begins to tune out unchanging details. Parts of your face fade, blur, and your brain tries to fill in the gaps. But instead of a perfect copy, it often pulls from memory and imagination, which is why you might see eerie, unfamiliar, or even archetypal faces appear. In fact, a 2010 study by Italian psychologist Giovanni Caputo found that when people stared at themselves in dim light for just 10 minutes, about 2/3 saw their face dramatically distort, and nearly half saw monstrous beings. Some even reported seeing relatives' faces looking back at them. Did you know? About 5% of adults talk in their sleep. In children, it's more common. Estimates range from 30–50%. Many outgrow it by adolescence. It can happen in both men and women, though some studies suggest it may be slightly more frequent in males and children. What happens during sleep talking? Sleep talking can range from simple sounds, mumbling, or single words to full sentences and even conversations. The speech is often unintelligible or jumbled, though sometimes it can be clear, can be triggered or made worse by stress and anxiety, sleep deprivation, fever or illness, certain medications, other sleep disorders like sleep apnea or REM behavior disorder. Genetics may play a role. Sleep talking sometimes runs in families. Sleep talking doesn't usually reflect true thoughts or secrets. It's more like brain noise. Most episodes last a few seconds to a couple of minutes. Some people also move, laugh, or even sing in their sleep. Did you know? When you inhale helium, your voice sounds high-pitched and funny, because the speed of sound in helium is much faster than in normal air. Air is mostly nitrogen and oxygen, with an average molecular weight of about 29 g per mole. Helium is much lighter, 4 g per mole. Because of this, sound waves travel about 3 times faster in helium than in air. Your vocal cords still vibrate at the same fundamental frequency, but the resonances in your vocal tract, mouth, throat, nasal cavity, shift upward in helium. These resonances are what shape the timbre and formants of speech. Since they are much higher in helium, your voice sounds squeaky or cartoon-like. The pitch itself doesn't really change. What changes is the quality of the sound. That's why it sounds like you're speaking in a higher pitch, even though your vocal cords are vibrating the same way. Breathing a little helium is usually harmless, but inhaling too much can displace oxygen and cause suffocation or fainting. Did you know? The flashes of colored light you see when you rub your eyes are called phosphenes. Phosphenes are the experience of seeing light without light actually entering the eye. When you rub your eyes or apply pressure, you mechanically stimulate the retina. This stimulation causes the same kind of electrical signals that real light would trigger. Your brain interprets these signals as light, so you see flashes, squiggles, or geometric patterns. Other causes include sudden changes in blood flow to the eye or retina, electrical stimulation, and random neural activity in the visual system when your eyes are closed. When you rub your eyes in the dark, you may notice colorful swirling patterns. Sneezing or coughing hard can cause a quick flash of light, and standing up too fast often makes people see stars. NASA has reported that astronauts often see spontaneous phosphenes in space, possibly caused by cosmic rays interacting with the retina. Did you know? There are 10 to the power of 1031 viruses in the ocean. If you line them up end to end, they would stretch for millions of light years, far beyond our galaxy. Most of these viruses are bacteriophages, viruses that infect bacteria, not humans. The ocean is filled with microbes, bacteria and archaea, which make up most of Earth's biomass. Viruses are their main predators, constantly infecting and killing them. A single milliliter of seawater, about a drop, can contain millions of viruses. Viruses kill about 20–40% of ocean bacteria daily, recycling nutrients back into the food chain. By breaking open microbial cells, viruses release organic carbon influencing global climate. They shuffle genes between organisms, driving microbial diversity. These viruses don't pose a danger to humans. Instead, they are crucial for maintaining life on Earth, as they regulate the base of the food web and help stabilize ecosystems. Did you know? Bats serve as important reservoirs for viruses, meaning they can carry many viruses without getting sick themselves. Flying takes a lot of energy, so bats have very high metabolic rates. This produces lots of cellular stress, but bats evolved strong DNA repair and immune regulation systems to cope. Their immune systems are always on at a low level, allowing them to tolerate viruses that would make other animals very ill. Bats are hosts to a wide variety of viruses, including rabies, Nipah, Hendra, SARS-like coronaviruses, and possibly Ebola. Many bats live in large colonies, fly long distances, and often roost with multiple species, all of which help viruses spread and persist. But bats don't usually get sick from these viruses, and the viruses only become a problem when they spill over into humans or other animals. Did you know? Today, white wedding dresses are seen as traditional, but for most of history, brides didn't usually wear white. Before the 19th century, brides typically wore their best dress, no matter the color. Blue, red, yellow, or even black were common choices, depending on culture and wealth. Wealthy brides sometimes wore dresses of rich fabrics like silk, velvet, or brocade, often embroidered with gold or silver to show off status. White became popular in 1840 when Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom married Prince Albert, wearing a white satin gown with lace. White came to symbolize purity, innocence, and wealth, since keeping a white dress clean was a luxury. In some cultures like China and India, red is still the traditional bridal color because it symbolizes prosperity and good fortune. In the West, the white wedding tradition only really solidified in the 20th century, helped by Hollywood movies and the wedding industry. Did you know? Statistics if often used to mislead people. There's cherry-picking data like a company boasting sales grew 50% while ignoring last month's 80% drop. Then there are misleading averages. If one billionaire walks into a room, the average income suddenly looks sky-high, but it tells us nothing useful. Small or biased samples can also distort reality, and people often confuse correlation with causation. Ice cream sales don't cause sunburn. Hot weather causes both. Graphs can be just as tricky, making tiny differences look dramatic. And percentages without context can mislead too. A 100% increase in risk sounds scary, until you realize it means going from 1 in a million to 2. So how do you protect yourself? Question the sample size. Look for what's missing. Be skeptical of dramatic graphs and always ask for the absolute numbers. Did you know? An estimated 50% of all gold ever mined on Earth came from a single plateau in South Africa. Deep under Johannesburg, South Africa, lies the Witwatersrand Basin, an ancient plateau of rocks over 2.7 billion years old. In 1886, gold was discovered here and the rush was on. But here's the jaw-dropper. Estimates say nearly half of all gold ever mined, about 50,000 tons, came from this one region. That's almost 1.5 billion ounces, out of the 205,000 tons mined in all of human history. The impact? Johannesburg sprang up overnight, earning the nickname City of Gold. The mines made fortunes, but they also fueled inequality and shaped South Africa's history in ways both glittering and grim. These days, the easy gold's gone and miners dig miles underground. But let's be real, the Witwatersrand is the rock star of gold and its legacy is still shining bright. Like and subscribe for more fun facts.